Hey, I'm Wes. Welcome to day 9 of the Focus40 challenge. Do you ever go to God in prayer where you already have preconceived ideas of how you want God to answer your prayer? I do, a lot. For instance, lately I've been looking for a teaching position at Christian college. Actually, I've been looking for quite a while. And Cindy and I would love to move to a warmer climate. So when I start looking, I always start in places like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, or Hawaii would be great. And what happens is a few days or a week later, I start feeling like, well, I should check other places. And I look around in all the other states, and what ends up happening is the positions that I want are not in the South. I end up sending my resume to places like Michigan or Minnesota or Washington State. But I think we do that a lot with God. We go to Him with prayers, but we already know how we want Him to answer. Well, in Jesus' life, actually at the end of His life, right before His crucifixion, I think Jesus, He knew, or I know that He knew what was ahead of Him, and He really didn't want to face all the pain and the torture of the cross. Here's what happened after He had that Last Supper with the disciples and when He went to the Garden of Gethsemane. It's in Mark chapter 14. It starts in verse 32. It says this: "They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to His disciples, 'Sit here while I pray.' He took Peter, James, and John along with Him, and He began to be deeply distressed and troubled. 'My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death,' He said to them. 'Stay here and keep watch.' Going a little farther, He fell to the ground and prayed that if possible the hour might pass from Him. 'Abba, Father,' He said, 'everything is possible for You. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what You will.'" You see, Jesus didn't want to go through the suffering of the cross and the suffering of bearing our sins. The human part of Him didn't want to do that. And yet He ended His prayer saying, "It's not what I want, but what You want." And see, that's what has to happen in our own lives. First of all, we can come to God with absolutely anything. If something matters to us, it matters to God. But the goal is to get to the point where we desire what He wants instead of what we want. It's not easy, but I believe the more we say the words, "I want Your will, not mine," the more that we will line up with God's desires for our life, and we'll begin to see Him answer our prayers in amazing ways. So when you pray today, tomorrow, say that to God. Say, "I want Your will, not mine." Have a great day.